for kids only.
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here, and we are in downtown Petaluma today at the Quilt Show. So we're going to learn a new word, and that word is quilt. Have you ever heard that word before? Well, let's find out what it's all about. Come with me.
A quilt is described as a coverlet or blanket made of 2 layers of fabric with a layer of cotton, wool, feathers, or down in between, all stitched firmly together, usually in a decorative crisscross design. A quilt in Petaluma is also considered to be art, kids, along with all sorts of other techniques that are the focus of a wonderful annual event called a quilt show. And it starts in Walnut Park and spreads all over the downtown area. So let's take a fun walk down 4th Street where all along the way colorful quilts are hanging up lining both sides of the street. How cool is that? Downtown churches on 4th and 5th Street are big participants in the quilt show. Some had quilts on display outside. Others went ahead and invited the general public right up their steps and into their meeting rooms where they were decorated with the most amazing pieces of quilted art you will see anywhere. One church had quilts outside and on the inside where they were draped over the pews from the very back of the church all the way to the front. Further down the street at the historic Women's Club building, there were even more incredible quilts on display, and that's where we started learning more about how quilts were made, kids. For instance, did you know there were different names for different patterns? This one is called a feathered wreath. And here's another pattern they call a Chesapeake rose. Here's a 4-patch with all kinds of swirlies running through it. This one's called a rail fence. Here's a pattern out in front of the museum called an Ohio star. Some of the adults had also displayed these great-looking pattern samples at the entrance to the building. And when you walked through the front door, you found quilts hanging up over your head, all around the 2nd floor railing in a big circle. Yeah. And when you walked out the back door, even more quilts were on display up on the big wooden fence surrounding the backyard. And this really great guitar player was sitting right in the middle of it all, playing live music under the open sky. We saw quilts with pictures on them, quilts with Indians, and my favorite, a big quilt made up entirely of neckties. Don't you just love this town? Well, that about wraps it up, kids. Remember to be nice to everyone, listen to your teachers, and eat more veggies. You want to say this is for kids only?
Cheese.
That's close enough.